I got a feeling that you got me covered too. I got you covered. I got you covered.
Hi, everybody. How is everybody doing tonight? Well, I'm here in a little pain today, but we're going to get through today. The chair does not want to cooperate, so if it slides down and you see me go down, then I fixed it or attempted. Hi, Sandy, about 3 times, and I'm over it. So if it goes down, I'll do my best, but I'm about ready to just super glue the dang on thing together, and then that way it could just stay exactly where I want it. But as long as you can see me and hear me, I'm in line at Costco. Well, wonderful. Hope it exits it out. You exit out quickly without any any issues. Um, I wanted to show you this to kind of see where we're at, or where kind of what this is. This is going to be the Advent alphabet for next year. Like I said, already pre-planning for next year. So I will go through it later. I just wanted to show you that it arrived, and I will read it a little bit. One thing that I really kind of liked about it, as at the end of the chapter, I'll have to look and see if there's any questions. I'm just letting people hop on for a minute while I kind of look at this. I don't know. I don't see any questions. So I may have to go through and we'll have to formulate our own questions. I don't see any questions at the end of it. There's a prayer, but I don't see any questions. So, oh, well, yeah, now I see them. We may have to formulate some of our own. I may have to go through them and put some questions together. But one thing that I do like about this is that at the end of every chapter is a little QR code, and it takes you to a video where it talks about the Pacific thing. So it says, like, this one it takes you to O Come Emmanuel, and it tells you dating back from the 8th century. So that would be kind of interesting. I thought that was really kind of interesting, that it's going to take you back to an actual song every day that the hymn thing has come out. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So I will go through it. Some it looks like that there are questions to this. Some it looks like there's not. But if there's not, then I'm going to go through and figure out some questions we can put with it. So I like that kind of, it goes to the 25th and almost kind of does the 26th, which is the day after Christmas, which I kind of like. So I think it'll be interesting. I really like the music bonus at the end. I think that'll be fun, so that we could do the Advent, and then at the end in the description could be a link to send you to this video that it says you can listen to, and that could be in the description. And then I think probably we may have to I may have to formulate some questions, my mom and I, but I think we can do it. So we are going to have an Amazon storefront coming, that will be in the description. I know I look low, guys, but I've tried 3 times to get this chair. Hi, New Horizons. I'm hoping, and I've said to my husband, can you just glue it? Hi, Jason P. Just glue it. Forget trying to put a new hydraulics in it. if you would just glue it so it stays exactly where it is. Either way, we turn it over to the son-in-law and say, "Here, you do something to make sure that when it's up, it stays up and doesn't move." But if I'm low, and I can try to fix it again, but it just doesn't seem to want to stay up. So there's not much I can do about it, but we're trying, guys. This will be in the Amazon storefront. So if anybody wants to follow along next year, they will be able to follow along, get it, and have it. So I think it'll be cool. You're updating your playlist. Awesome, New Horizons. There are 3 new emojis, guys. There are 2 New Year's emojis, and then there is one that says "Proud of Me" emoji. So that will hopefully be a sticker, because we have to have a proud of me emoji, right? Proud of being me emoji. So there's that, and then there's 2 New Year's emojis in there for 2025. So I uploaded those just a few minutes ago. So, and that's why I was running a little bit late. Hi, Kristen. So there are 3 new emojis. If anybody is a member, if they could go in there and put them 3 up, I'd appreciate it. There are 3 new ones: Proud of Being Me, Celebrate, and then there is 2025. Put 3 up. Got rid of the Christmas because we're not into Christmas anymore, and we are now into the new year. Alrighty. Had a couple people coming on in. Now, I decided to talk about personality types tonight. And then tomorrow, we're going to talk about goals once you find out your personality type. And I did this earlier today. Trying to find a free test was not easy, let me tell you. But I did finally find it. I have to find out which one I actually found that was totally free. I think it was this one. Was it this one? No, it was this one. And so this is the free personality test. I will go ahead and put it in the description. It's very simple. It's free. But it was kind of interesting when I did it. I did not realize, and this may be a discussion. I know that Kristen Melinda is dealing with a cold, but it may be a discussion to have on. Oh, well, that's just no fun. About personality types. I'm not talking about people that may have multiple personality types and that kind of stuff. I'm talking about your specific personality types. I didn't realize there was 16 different ones. I was kind of floored to realize that there was 16 different personalities. So this was the free personality test I found and I took, and I could say that it pretty much nailed on the head. I can't spell tonight, guys. It pretty much nailed on the head pretty much what I was, and I found it interesting. Now, they want to give you a synopsis of what it is, and then they want you to put an email in, and I don't think I had to put an email in. That was optional. But then if you want to know further, then you have to, whatever, I don't know. But I just found out what their personality was, right? But some have common traits, as Kristen is saying. But then what I did was I took it on this site and got the idea of exactly all the different kind of personalities. Okay. And it gave me a good description of what those personalities were. You will be floored to find out what personality I was. I am, from this test that I took, I am an ESFB personality, which means I'm an entertainer. All right. That's what it said. And it pretty much nailed me on the head as far as, and the the other place that I went to look at kind of what that was, did a really in-depth kind of thing about it. One thing it did say, which is kind of what I'm saying, people that have that personality, when you give them a schedule, you box them in and they don't like it. And I'm like, boy, that's me. Now, I will say this. I can relate to a lot of this personality. However, I did kind of glean some stuff off my dad, who was very detail oriented, almost like a type A personality. And when we were moving from Florida to Cincinnati, I was extremely detailed oriented. I had everything planned out. I knew where everybody was going. I knew where the hotels were going to be. I knew the stops. I knew everything. I'm very good with that. Very good with planning my daughter's wedding, all detailed oriented stuff. But that was all up my alley. But that I kind of think is more like, well, if I enjoy doing it, then I'm going to be detailed all the way. If it doesn't interest me, yeah, I'm not going to be too detail oriented to it. And it said a personality type that's observant, feel with I'm going to say it wrong. I know it. EXTRAVERTED. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it right now. Feeling and respecting traits. These people love vibrant experiences, engaging in life eagerly, taking pleasure in discovering the unknown. They can be very social and often encourage others into shared activities. What did we do with the cookie connection? I was trying to get everybody involved, right, with that. Anyone is to be found spontaneous, breaking into song and dance. Well, I can't sing for nothing, but I enjoy my music, right? People with this type of personality can get caught up in the excitement of the moment and want everyone else to feel the way they do too. No other type is more generous with their time and energy when it comes to encouraging others, and no other type does it with such irresistible style. And I'm thinking, yep, I try to encourage everybody to come on in. Let's do this thing, right? They're living with passion. It's not just talk either. ESFPs, which I guess that's what my personality type, tend to have strong sense of any personality type. They have an eye for fashion. I tend to have that. They know what's attractive at the moment they see it. They aren't afraid to change their surroundings to reflect their personality. Well, what do we do with the Christmas, right? They're typically naturally curious. I can be at times. Though it not always seem like it, these personality types know that it's not always about them. They are observant and very sensitive to other people's emotions. Absolutely. I'm very sensitive to other people's emotions. In office, often the first to help someone take out a challenging problem. My relatives used to say you made a great therapist because you listen and you try to find solutions and help people. They are more likely to avoid conflict altogether. They address it head on. I tend to do that. The personality type usually loves a little more drama and passion, but not so much when it comes to focusing on their criticisms it can bring. Tend to have a spontaneous spirit. Are welcoming whenever they need to laugh. They volunteer and try something new and fun. There's no greater joy to this personality bringing everyone else along for the ride. They can chat for hours. Well, that's me. Sometimes about anything, but the topic that meant to talk about, we get there sometimes, but I can stay on topic. And they share their loved ones' emotions with good times and bad. If they can just remember to keep their ducks in a row, always be ready to dive into new exciting things in this world. So that was very much, I think, to say. Hi, crocheting. So I can say that they're bold. I can be bold. They're original. They're positive and enthusiastic. They're hands-on and observant. Um, they have excellent people skills. Absolutely. Um, they love to pay attention to people. They are talkative and witty, and they almost never run out of things to discuss. That's me. That's absolutely right. They're sensitive. They can get easily bored. Not with crochet though. They can get unfocused at times. Yes, that's me. Unless it's something that, um, they really get a passion about. The trick for them is to find a day-to-day joy in the border, the goals that are kind of boring, and to tough it out through those tedious things that must be done. Um, they're poor long-term planners. Yeah, I can say. To them, things come as they come. Too often, they don't bother with taking the time to lay out steps or consequences. They believe they can change at any moment, right? So, you know, yeah, that's they're sensitive. So it means strong emotions, often vulnerable to criticism. They can feel like they have been backed into a corner sometimes, reacting badly. There is probably their greatest weakness because it makes it hard to address any weaknesses brought to light. So, probably when my dad was fussing at me, it was why it was so hard to do. Um, I found it interesting on the career path. Not that I have a career, but kind of certain things about um, you know, uh, about them. And it says when they are at a party or a concert, they reflect the mood, giving the party people image. When their friends are sad, they mirror with the sympathy and empathy. And when they're in a crisis, they adapt to match the intensity of the situation. I can't remember where it said. A touch of chaos. Yeah, yep. You know, that's absolutely it. Um, so it was very interesting to kind of look at the different kind of things that it was. And I thought, you know what, then I went a little further with it. And I thought, well, I wonder if this has anything to do with how we need to set goals. And it does. So the first part of this is trying to find out what your thing is. And then tomorrow we're going to talk about, okay, now you found your personality trait. Now you've kind of done a little dive in understanding that. Now, how can we take that and set goals and accomplish them with your personality type? Because they said it is important to find that out. Hi, Brazy Girl. Um, uh, they strike up conversations and exchange ideas easily. Trying to read where they give honest feedback, whether things make sense or not. Under fire, people have personality types that can be defensive and easily upset. Yeah, I can do that. I can absolutely do that. Um, and I think it was interesting. And then when it even went into parenthood, a little bit. Um, known for their ability to impress or focus completely on the present. They are great finding exciting new things to explore. They can easily be tripped up with situations. I'm trying to read this a little bit. think I was, let's see, where did it say at the end? I can't, says you need to be willing to be able to challenge yourself to go beyond the obvious, to imagine and follow your own path instead of just going with the flow. If you want to take the reins to your own hands, we are here to help you. Well, that's whatever that is. I'm trying to see. So it does give you a little bit of some kind of understanding to what your strengths and weaknesses, and kind of what it is. Now, Kristen said, what did you test? And you said you're IN. Let me go back. Let me see if I can go back to this and I can put this in the chat and then people can look at it. I think I started off with their test, but they wanted I don't know, money, and I was like, no, I got to find for free. So Kristen says that she is, where was it? She tested, and so did Sandy Wendy, the same thing, the INTJ, which is well, let me get to that, and then I'm going to put this in the chat. INTJ, INFP, INFJ. Yes. I don't see it in this one. It should. Well, let's look up that person. I don't see it in this specific one, and I think this was the one that, but at least will give you an idea. Well, okay, there's two things. Hold on a minute. We're going to find it, guys. We're on a mission. Let's see, let me go back to the very beginning. Let me go back. Oh, here it is. I found it. It was at the very top. Just go to the very top of the thing, right? I'm going to put this in the chat so people can look at the different personalities. I thought it gave a very, very, this is the overview on all of them. It gave it a very good idea of exactly what different kind of personalities there are. And I remember type A's and type B's, and I didn't remember 16 different personalities. I was kind of floored. So, Kristen and Sandy's personality are architect. And an architect is a personality type with inverted, intuitive thinking and judging traits. These thoughtful tacticians love perfecting and details of life, applying creativity and rationality. I could see that in both of them. Everything they do. The inner world is often private and complex. I thought that I could see both of them for that. They have a pioneering spirit. Hi, Fairway. How are you? They have a pioneering spirit. Questions most things based on their beliefs and solid evidence. I could see that. These type of personality comes with a strong independent streak. I can see that in both of them. Their thirst for knowledge, absolutely. Kristen, Melinda, for sure, absolutely. Social frustration. I remember when Kristen and I first started talking, and she said, "You know what? I don't do this friend thing well." I said, "Well, neither do I. So let's try it." So I absolutely can see that in Kristen and in Sandy Wendy. Um, the one of them is Logican, um, Commander, Debater, and then there's Diplomats, and there's different kind of ones in here. So I would take that personality test, and then I would kind of see which one you think you may fall into, and then go to this other site I found and deep dive into it. Now, I'm going to say that as I kind of deep dived into the layout, I said, yes, I could see that, but I think that I did pick up some on my dad's, because even though I do not like to keep a schedule, don't like to do it. And here's the other thing, and we're going to talk about this in the new year. How do you try to keep a schedule when you are dealing with a chronic illness? I'm sitting here with my cup of tea, but I have been curled up in bed majority of today. Why? Because it's not a good day pain wise. So whatever I had, if I did have anything planned, hi Shaunaby, had to be pushed out. I'll put it in the chat again. Had to be pushed out of the wayside so that I could just rest. I had to spend the day in bed and rest. I will go ahead, and I should be able to pin this to the top maybe. I'm putting it in again. So I think that we need to have a healthy discussion on, hi Juan, how are you? A healthy discussion on, okay, you have this and you're going to set goals, but how do you filter in if you're dealing with a chronic illness? Because anything that was on the plans today, except for uploading several different new emojis. So if you remember, you do have a couple new ones. Christmas is gone. You have a celebrate emoji. You have a 2025 emoji, and then you have a proud of being me emoji. So those have been uploaded into the emojis for the next couple of days. The proud of being me will stay on, but the other two will be changed out with what is next? Valentine's Day? Are we already there yet? That's in February. But to get back to this, whatever I had in the hopper today was totally had to be put on the back burner. It could not have been in any way, shape, or form on the schedule because the pain level was just there, that I was like, it's not happening today. So we have to be willing to modify that. And I could see a lot of personality traits when I started looking at it. And I think it's a much better way. And I don't know if Kristen is familiar with the 16 different kind of personalities looking at it, because I come from, excuse me, I guess old school, type A personality, type B. But this is to me much more detailed to understand. But like I said, I think I picked up some traits from my dad, because if I'm interested in something, like for my daughter's wedding, when I had my wedding, there was planned details like you cannot believe. And I loved my daughter and I loved my son-in-law, but there was two people that had no idea what in the heck they were doing trying to plan a wedding for about 115 people. And I was like, wait a minute, I got this one. Can you just sit around? We'll talk about this and I'll tell you exactly how to do it. But if you're going to box me in to a schedule, oh my goodness. Are you doing a live tonight? I didn't even forward it over. I could, but if you're doing a live, let me know. Alfonso. You know, if you're you're gonna box me in and say I've got to at 1:00 I have, okay, you're doing this out, then we'll do it afterwards. At 1:00 I've got to do A. At 2:00 I've got to do this. At 3:00 I have to do this. No, I will find at 3 o'clock, I'll realize that 1, 2, and 3 has gone by. And so, with that being said, this is not how I work best. And reading that test helped me understand that if I'm going to accomplish the goals that we want to accomplish personally on this channel and everything, I have to really understand my personality type and decide what is going to work, what I'm going to do best to work around it, understand my strengths. And here's the other thing, not be ashamed of my weaknesses and figure out how to make sure that I can do the best I can to strengthen those. Realize that there's weaknesses. Realize that this is not a ding against Mary if I'm weak in something. If I'm weak in something and I can improve it to the best of my ability, then that is fine. But I don't need to beat me up, right? When I am really struggling with something and I can't, I'm just doing my best. So understanding your personality and understanding exactly how your personality works to achieving goals. There is a contrast between the two. If we try, I don't know how often we've done it. Certain ones like the Myers-Briggs, I'm an INFJ. And I'll put that other thing in here so y'all can see it again. I just thought it was interesting. We've all seen it, right? Where you've tried to put a square peg in a round hole. You're going to sit there for hours. What are you going to do? You're going to frustrate yourself and you're going to waste time. So I have to figure out, okay, I'm circle, okay? And last night, the computer did beautifully. I had a funny feeling it knew that I was going to be retiring it soon and it was behaving itself. That's just a little side note. Last night, it went without a hitch. Computer, you'll still be around. Don't worry. If I'd be nice to it, maybe it won't do it. Which then Juan says if he's an NIFJ, which is, I will put this back in the description, J, then he is a diplomat, which is quiet, mystical, yet very inspired, and tireless uh, ide- idealist. I think it's not going to, well, we can just keep hoping, guys. Just keep thinking good thoughts for the computer, right? The different personalities. 16. All right. There we go. I put that one back in the chat. So I think if we realize that we have got to understand ourselves, and this goes back to being proud of being yourself. Okay? Does it mean that we don't need to modify how we are? Right? No. It doesn't mean that we need to not modify ourselves. I'm back. For how long, I don't know. I love y'all, and I trying to make this better. And we had a computer lined up, and I waited a little too long on it, and so Josh has to find another one. But we'll get it done. It's the alternative. Maybe if I tell the computer that it'll pay, it won't be doing that no more. We don't need to do that no more. So if we're going to go forward to plan our goals, right? Then we need to understand our personality. I really do feel that that's important. Sometimes I struggle with that, making modifications when needing. I have a perfectionist mindset, especially when things like writing poetry. And I get that very much too when I'm a perfectionist on not everything. When it comes to my crochet, it has to be perfect. And even though I know nobody's going to find the mistakes, I want to know where all the little mistakes are, right? I want everything to be perfect. But to me, this was very helpful, and I'll tell you why. I have spent years beating myself up because I wanted to be somebody other than me, right? If I'm around my son-in-law, he's very quiet, extremely quiet. He talks when he needs to. He's just very quiet. His family's very quiet. There's nothing wrong with that. But I have to take Mary down a couple of notches, right? When I am around him and his family, because I don't want to overwhelm them. However, I have made the decision that whoever I'm around, I'm not going to change me at the core. And me at the core is a people person that can go up to anybody and say, "Hi, my name is Mary. What's your name?" And start a conversation easily. I want people joining in on things. I want people participating. I am exactly like that. Now, there's some things where I want everything planned out. And when I was young, I needed to know what we were doing. And I think some of that was because, I look back at that now thinking, I think because my dad could be so unpredictable. And he could be very calm and then get really angry very quickly. That if I knew what was going on, then I could maybe predict, it wasn't so scary at the time when I was little, but I wanted to know what everything was. And I am good at planning. When we moved to Florida to Cincinnati, everything was planned out. When we moved from Cincinnati up here, everything was planned out. I was the person that planned it out. But don't give me a schedule where I have to be someplace. I had problems. It wasn't that I wasn't a good employee, but I had a real hard time getting to work exactly at 7:00. It's just like, I don't do that very well, and I know I don't do it very well. But understanding the personality of who you are at the core means that you can accept the things that are your strengths. You can do your best to work on your weaknesses. At the end of the day, I want you to be able to say, I'm that type of personality. I'm the way that I was done. I'm the way that I was taken. And see, Sandy Wendy says, I've taken it 20 times and it's coming each time the same thing. I'm at the same time going at the end of the day, going to sit up and say, I'm this way. Believe whatever you want to believe. I believe one person made us that way because he had a plan and a purpose. Right? Believe whatever you would like to believe. I'm not here to douse your beliefs at all. And at the end of the day, you have got to sing to the rooftops, I'm proud of being me. There is no one else like you. Everyone else is taken. There are 16 different personalities, but I think Kristen could probably back it up that even though there's 16 personalities and you may fall into one of those personalities, you still at times are going to have little things that are varied on it, right? There's still going to be times where there's things that even within those personalities, I found that could be a little bit more of a very-ish kind of thing. But I'm sitting there going, well, I should be able to keep a schedule. And I read in one of them, and I can't find it right now, but I did read in it that your type of personality doesn't like schedules. It makes them feel very boxed in and claustrophobic. I'm like, okay, well then I'm not going crazy. It's my personality type. Listening and my mother, every time we go on live and so forth, in the car and we're driving from Christina's house to here or back and forth, and she'll sit there and she'll go, I don't know how you do it. She said, I do not know how you get on that thing for an hour. And she said, it is so easy and complete. She said, you just go in from one to another. And she said, I am floored that you don't run out of things to talk about. You're paying attention to what's going on in the chat. She said, I just get amazed, right? That you can do that and that you just don't seem to run out of things. And she said, I just watch it with absolute amazement. She says, I couldn't do it. And I'd be interested now to see what her personality type is. But reading that to realize, right? Guess what? It's even saying they don't seem to run out of anything to talk about, right? They pretty much can talk. Thank you very much. They can pretty much, talk, have a good sleep. They can pretty much talk. They don't run out of things to talk about. Well, this is me. Why am I trying to change me? Guys, don't change you. If somebody comes to you and says, you know what? You need to change this. I don't like this about you. You know what my loving response is? Well, I will do my best I can to maybe bring that down a little bit. But at the core, guess what? Happy New Year. At the core, I'm who I am. I ain't changing me. I know that in the Greek tradition, it is a very, very much of the Greek tradition for people to kind of talk and people will interrupt each other. And of course, I lived with a husband who had ADHD and a daughter who had ADHD and autism. So we interrupted each other. Well, Jared doesn't like that. His family doesn't do that. So I really watch carefully that when he's around, we try not to do that. But when he's not around, we kind of go back into our own familiar kind of things. And so, if somebody came to me and said, well, I don't like this about you. If it was something that I could change in about how I was approaching somebody or how I was doing something, that's different. But if they come to me and say, well, I really wish that you would, just die down a little bit. Okay, I will. But you want to get to know Mary. This is Mary. I'm who I am. I'm going to go up and feel like I've never met a stranger. I'm going to have a generous heart. I'm going to care about somebody. I can't change the core, and I'm certainly not going to go into this looking at all of these strengths and saying, okay, well, some of these strengths people have complained about me throughout my life, going, could you just bring that down a couple notches? No. That's what makes me who I am. some of the weaknesses I need to work on. And I can say that it nailed it right on the head when it says that these people have a hard time taking criticism. Yeah, I don't do that very well because it goes back into my head and it goes to the point where it says, Mary, see the way you were born? See, Mary, nobody likes you. And then it's a spiral trap just going down a very, very dark hole when that happens. And part of that, I think, had a lot to do with how I was raised. The bullying that I had went on with friends. I think a lot of that has to go back to that. So we need to understand our personalities. And at that point, you need to then build your goals around your personality strengths. And if you know that one of those goals is going to land in where the goals are, where your weaknesses are, then we have to find a way to get around that. And that's why we're going to start. We're going to talk tomorrow. Now we have a 2:30 live, and then at 11:30 you're going to come party with me. Now I know some of you, not all of you, that won something from the monetization. You got to. I had, and they were not used. They were in the drawer. They were unused. I saved one of them. We have to whistle things. Now, we're going to tomorrow night, usually we do our little sneaky snack stuff on New Year's Eve, but we're going to actually do that on New Year's Day. And we're going to do, like fried chicken or something tomorrow. My dad always used to love fried chicken, and we did that last year, and it was kind of really nice. And so we'll do that tomorrow. I really, really think that this is important. I learned a lot. I got to deep dive even more. And I would like at one time, if Kristen can come on and we can go through, if she feels comfortable enough to do it, we can go through. And it looked like on this, see all the chat. If anybody is if they can drop some of those new emojis that we put up, I'd appreciate it. If you would ever be comfortable when life gets, slows down maybe a little bit after the new year, it looks like, and I'll send this to you, Christian, it looks like there's there's 4 different things put together, of the different kind of personalities. And I think that you would certainly be a better one to kind of dive into that a little bit. Next year, I'll send it to you to I don't know what you would call these. Well, there is. It says analyst is one, diplomats is another, Sentinels is another. I don't think I said that right. And explorers. And I think if we take that and we break each one of those down with somebody like Kristen, right? That can kind of go into a little bit of a deep dive and help us understand it, I think it would be even better. Because I think that I love that idea of doing what Crafty Witch came up with yesterday, talking about different kind of almost like connection buddies, being accountable to each other, with each other, to help each other, kind of be accountable and have that accountability happen. Thank you, Juan. And another thing too is, I would like it, also just a little side note, if anybody is, I wanted to see how they looked. They look pretty good. I wanted to see how they looked in the chat. Because when it's on StreamYard, all it says is the title. It doesn't show me the picture, and I wanted to see it. What I would like to do is, if anybody's interested, is we're going to go next year, for those people that are interested in doing it, we're going to hit this devotion for the year. So there's going to be a devotion every day on the channel, every year, every day. And if anybody is interested, I told people to put it on the comments, because I went through and did the reflection quote thing. I got that all done yesterday for November. If anybody would like me to start a private Facebook group to do those devotions and have them and participate in them, please let me know. We will start a separate Facebook group for that to have those discussions. I don't want to, again, I'm never forcing anybody to believe what we believe. It's not what I want people to do. I want people to feel welcome. But if people feel as if they would like to have a group, a Facebook group of people that come together that have the same belief system when it comes to that, I'd be more than glad to set that up on Facebook. So let me know if it's something that, as we kind of dive in that devotional for the next year, if people are interested, then great. But I think that this is worth you all kind of taking the time, take that test, go through the other thing, look up your personality, dive down deep. And then I think we need to do strengths and weaknesses, which is what I'm going to do, a little bit more of a deep dive into it. And then building my goals around figuring out, okay, this is my strengths and this is my weaknesses. How do I accomplish it? Knowing that my personality is what it is. But at the end of the day, I want you all to sit there and be proud. And even go a little further with it and say, yep, that's me, but I have some extra things. Where can I can be very detail oriented in some of the things. Well, where is that kind of coming from? When am I drived? When am I, where's my drive to be detail oriented? Because it says from there I shouldn't be. So I need to do a little bit more of a deep dive to understand how to tailor in, how to construct a schedule that's going to work for Mawa. She's an INJ. We have a lot of them in this group of people. A lot of them in there. I think we need to figure it out. I hope it was helpful. I want Kristen on, and what we'll do next month, maybe do one every couple of weeks, is we'll take a group and we'll go over that group. And I think that if she helps us kind of understand a little bit of it, from a perspective of that, I think that would be really helpful. And this may take a little bit of time, guys, to, we're not doing New Year's resolutions. Those are out the window. That's the old. We're going to do goals, short term and long term, not based on how I'm going to do it or how base you're going to do it, but how your personality best works to accomplish that. Because I did type it in and I said, does the way your personality is, does it affect how you accomplish a goal? And it does. Bingo. If a schedule makes me feel confined, why do I want to be into a schedule? I don't. I don't want to be in a schedule. I don't like schedules. I don't know. So, and Shauna B says she's an advocator. We need all these different kind of personalities, and in the personalities, there's different traits. But I read that, and at the very end of it, I said, this is me. And I am proud to be me. I'm who I am. You can like me or not, and if you don't like me, I'm really sorry. But here's my challenge to everybody that may come to me at one point in time, and I know as this channel grows that it may happen. Guess what my thing is going to be? How much time have you spent with me? Because the people in the chat that have spent time, people that have gotten to know me, friends that have spent time through the Facebook with me, will probably tell you that she has one of the biggest hearts of anybody they know. And that Mary's always there to help and bring people in to participate. She always wants everybody to come in and feel as if they are part of a group and they belong. And I'm like, that's me. Why am I going to change me? At the core, don't change who you are at the core because somebody comes and tells you, I don't like how you do this. I love Mr. Blessed to crochet. But guys, I don't love everything he does. And yes, he's going to do the test too because I'm curious what he would be. I don't love everything he does. Sometimes what he does frustrates me. I love my daughter. And sometimes she frustrates me. But I'm her biggest fan. Everybody has their strengths and everybody has their weaknesses. Don't beat yourself up because you have something that makes you weak. That's one of the reasons why I want to do it respectfully, but why I want to do some deep dive into Elvis Presley. And I know people are like, well, he's gone. When he went on stage, you saw a man that had a tremendous gift. But if you start researching him, you're going to see that yes, he was a man, but he was a man, but he had his weaknesses. He had his struggles just like you and me. He put his pants on one leg at a time. And everybody wants to put him on a pedestal that I don't think he would have been comfortable putting him on. We can still say, yes, he had a God-given talent. He had a God-given voice. He had God-given good looks. Guess what? You all have the same thing. I am fortunate and blessed to have all of you here. I am fortunate and blessed to get to know each and every one of you. You're unique and special, and we need all of you in this world. You all bring different things in this chat. You bring it to the channel, and I am so blessed. And I want everybody in 2025 to stand tall and proud and say, I'm proud of being me. That is going to be our motto. That's going to be our 2025 call, the proud of being me year. Because if you can look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm proud of being me, right? Because everybody else is taken. And I've got an image, and we're going to get the shirt for anybody that wants to order it. They can. We're going to do it, right? I'd like back up on Elvis Presley deep dive. I'm happy to assist with the research. I would absolutely. And what we're going to find, I'm going to say this right away. Oh, awesome, Nancy. See, we're starting early before we even get into 2025. I'm going to tell you this right now. There's going to be people that I'm going to get flack on that are going to sit here and go, oh, he didn't have anything. He was perfect. No, he wasn't. Far from it. And if we look at some of the things that he went through and some of the things that, are talked about him, there's some theories. And if nothing else, if it brings attention to mental illness and somebody maybe is listening to it and says, you know what, I'm struggling with that, then it's worth it. I was so sad. My husband was sitting there, and he's going through a lot right now. And those know that, or some of you may or may not know, but he's been vocal on it. He's talked about it on My Other's Keeper. He has something called Klinefelters, which means he has an extra chromosome. And he's been on crutches now for a couple of weeks with his knee, and they want him to go to physical therapy before they're going to send him to go find out what's going on with it, which just irritates me. But he just sat in the bed and he was crying. And that Patty called and talked to me. And she said to me, why did my mom not find out what was wrong? All these years, there's so many things that could have been averted if she had done when I came to her and I said, I think I have this. Action wasn't taken. So if we do a deep dive on some of what went on, what I think may have been the underlining to some of it, and somebody's listening who happens to be an Elvis Presley fan are just interested, maybe they'll go, you know what? I'm struggling with that right now. Maybe it'll seek them to go get some help. If somebody like Elvis may have had, some issues and it, maybe it'll encourage somebody. And a lot of fans don't want to talk about it. We're not trying to disrespect him. We're just not working. Oh, one of these days. We were working last night. I think. Well, I'm still talking. You can still hear me. Um, so I did not redirect it. It was one thing I was going to do, and I forgot to do it. So at 9:30, Alfonso comes on. So I'm going to head off, and I'm going to do the December quotes reflections. I did November. So yeah, he was only 42 years old. Um, he was that young. He was that young, and he had some health issues. He was sick. And you're welcome, Kristen. And he had a lot. He had glaucoma. He had a lot of health issues. But let's not look. Let's dive deeply in a little bit of it. And I think mental illness is still not looked at properly. But anyway, again, we're going to be doing this every day, the first, because this is going to tie in, guys, to the shoe boxes. Billy Graham's son runs the shoebox, the Samaritan's Ministry that we do our shoe boxes with. So us doing, please let us know. I will put this up. This is going to be our journal for next year. And what I really like about this one is at the end of each journal, each little thing is there's no pretty pictures like the last book, but it has little QR codes. So in the description, we can go watch a Christmas song, and there's a little history about that Christmas song. So, and the gentleman's name that wrote this is Ray Pritchard. And my grandmother's last maiden name was Pritchard. So it must be something that I must be into. So if you would like a private Facebook group set up for the devotions, the daily devotions, please let me know, and we'll go ahead and set that up. We're going to take a moment before we head out of here. I will be uploading December reflection quotes so that we're right. Hi, Hedgie. We're right on track to start into January and get back on track and be consistent. That's one of my goals, is consistency. Which I think from my chart says I struggle with that. Join us at 9:30 for Alfonso. And I will be uploading a noodle pudding recipe that I didn't get in time for Christmas because we made it the day after Christmas. It's delicious. It makes a great meal. Okay, Nancy, then I will go ahead and set that up. And we'll roll that out the first of the year. It's a noodle pudding recipe. Of course, we made it. We didn't have the kids over till the 27th. So we didn't make it till the 26th. So it was after Christmas. But I will upload that for you all, either the 31st or the 1st, for noodle pudding recipe. It is delicious. That's all I felt like today was noodle pudding. It makes a great recipe to freeze too as well. So before we're going to head off here, if the computer will allow me to, I'm going to give it a whirl, right? I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. All right, guys, I'm back for a second till it decides what it wants to do. One of these days, I'm telling you. All right, we're going to take a moment. We do appreciate our channel members. It does help us to bring some extra content. It's never expected, it is always appreciated. We just want to take a moment to thank them so much for all of it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So there we go. Thank you so much. We thank everybody's support. You guys are all rock stars. And we're going to do this thing. Go over to Alfonso's channel because he'll be doing his thing at 9:30 and I will be joining him. So I thank you all for participating. Now tomorrow we'll be doing 2:30 and we're going to be talking about, okay, now that we've figured out kind of what personality, how do we start setting our goals and formulating them to be able to accomplish them according to what our personality is. And I think that that's a really important thing. I've kind of done a little bit of research. And I think that if we don't keep talking about it and having the discussion about it, then, we need to continue to kind of have the discussion about it and do a little bit more deep dive. I actually found it very fascinating to find out kind of where your personalities all lie a little bit and your strengths, and let's help each other. Let's be there to support each other. So remember, stay connected. It is so important. Remember, be proud of being yourself because everyone else is taken. And you know what? Thanks so much for having us covered. We have you covered, and we'll see you for day 30. Day 31st. Oh my goodness, the last day of 2024, right? The 31st. We will see you tomorrow for day 31st of Christmas Connection. And then at 11:30 p.m., we're going to celebrate going into the new year. And just a little side note, thank you to anybody who spread. I will put it in the description below, Patty's GoFundMe page. Thank you so much for doing that. Anybody that was able to contribute, she appreciates it. It will help to just make sure she doesn't have to worry about any bills as she's just trying to enjoy a little bit of her last time here. If you go to our community page, her GoFundMe page is there. If you're able to share it on your social media, if that's all you're able to do, we tremendously appreciate it very much, just to make sure that she doesn't have to worry about anything right now. She can just enjoy what little time she has with herself and her daughter and her family. Thank you all so much. Have a blessed day. We'll see you on the next one, and we'll see you over at Alfonso soon. Bye-bye, everybody.
So proud of being